Hello, and welcome to another session of E2 tutorial. This session is basically a continuation of our previous YouTube video on classification modeling, where we developed the logistic regression model to be able to classify or predict a student's outcome for Lakeland College based on the student's GPA and if the student attended an orientation session during the first week of the semester, right? A 1-week voluntary orientation session to see if they would come back to the college after their first year in college. So now what we want to do is extend this a step forward, right? By creating what I like to call a portfolio, right? Because as a data scientist, a data analyst, or a business analyst, you need to have a portfolio or some sort of platform or website where you could showcase all of the different models or work that you've done. Now, that brings us into what we call R Markdown, right? So basically, R Markdown is a simple and easy to use, I would say, plain text language tool that basically allows you to combine both your R code that you've developed, show the results as well in there, whatever interpretations you have with that result, right? And it allows you to format it in a very nice way, whereby you can put it in like a report or a publication or a web page, right? So in this case, we're looking at a web page, but you could still have it in a PDF format, right? If you wanted to give it to somebody, so they could look at your code, they could see the results out of each code, they could see your explanation of the results, right, and things of that nature. So that's basically what R Markdown is all about. Now, the RPubs is basically a free website that allows us to host our R Markdowns in it after it has been published. So in this video, I would show you how to create an RPubs. It's very simple, right? Maybe in less than 45 seconds or 30 seconds, you have it created. And then based off what we did in the previous video on logistic regression, we would develop an R Markdown and then would publish it into RPubs. So just kind of follow me through the whole process and I'll show you how it's done. So now I'm going to switch over to what the RPubs website looks like, right? So this is it here. It's just for R Studio, right? And people, like so many people using this around the world. It's a global website. It's free to everybody, right? So you can see people are posting their artwork, assignments, projects, personal stuff, and things like that. And you can see this is like 4 minutes ago. If I refresh it, I'm so sure more people have posted as well, right? This is 4 minutes ago. This is another person, Kitty, right? So that's basically how RPubs is being used. So what you need to do first is let's just register. So click on register, and then all you need to do is put your name, your email address, username, and all of those different things. So I already have an account, so I'm not going to create one anymore. So you could use your personal email so that you always have access to this. But if you want to use your school email, that's up to you. Any email that you use basically works. So I'm just going to go out of here. I'll sign into my own account so you could see how it looks like. Right, so I'm signed into my account. I have published 2 different R projects that I've done so far, right? So this was almost 1 month ago or thereabout. And then this is the Lakeland College model that we developed in the first video. So I have it published here. So this is how it looks like. So in this video, I'll basically teach you guys how we can create your own to look exactly like this. And I would highly encourage you that for any model you develop, RPubs will be the best place for you to host that that R code that you have developed, right? So remember, we had 6 questions, so we have all of that 6 questions there. So you can see it. You have your code, you have the output, so you could see you have the code summary, the output. I even have some of my interpretations there as well. Remember, we had all of this and this too as well. All right, so let's go ahead to work on this, right? So that we can have your own RPub looking like this and have your first publication as well for some of you that are very new to this. Okay, now before I get in there, one thing I do want to state is you do want to create a new folder where you would host this R Markdown, right? So make sure that your data set and the saved R Markdown files are inside that folder, because if they're not in the same folder, it will be very difficult for you to run the R Markdown when before you publish it, right? You'll keep getting errors. So please make sure you create a separate folder and put the data set as well as your saved R Markdown into that folder. All right, so open up your R files if you don't have it open. So I have mine still open based off the last analysis that we did, right? So what I want you to do is open a new text file, right? Just open a new text file. And then this is how it would look like. Then go ahead and save that text file, whatever name you want to call it. So I'll click on the save. And then remember, you have to save it inside the same folder where you have your data set, right? So I would call mine college I would just say, no, let's see, I'll call it classification model. That's what I would call it. And then you save it as .rmd, which means R Markdown, right? Take note, you save it as .rmd, right? So click on save, and then you should have your file created. So what I would do is I would try to just clean all of this. So maybe I can leave that one and go to help. And the other thing you could also do is you could search for Markdown or R Markdown on the help tab, right? And this would basically pop up. So basically here I could just search for R Markdown. Oh no, not there. Sorry, search in the wrong place. Oh, I'm supposed to search for, yeah. Yeah, this is it here. Learn R Markdown. So you click on it. Yeah, you have different tutorials and different stuffs on how to do the R Markdown. What is okay? So when you kind of bring out that R Markdown, you can see different ways you can have things sorted out. So I basically work with headers, right? And then also you have to put it in our code blocks, right, in order for what you're putting to kind of come out. So everything is going to be in code blocks, right? So just take note of that. And then if you want to put text as well, this is how you would put it. If you want certain codes to show in there, this is how you would do it. I haven't tried this one before, so we'll play around with it and see how it works, right? And then if you want to create a table, this is what you would need in order to create a table. So you could just basically go through all of this to kind of teach you more about our markdowns. So let's get started with ours. So the first thing I would do is just create a general title. So the the double asterisk helps you to make sure that that's a title and it's put it in bold, right? So retention at Lakeland College. So that would make sure that it comes out as bold. Then I'm creating my project objective, right? So now that's like a subheading. So when you look at it here, it's going to be like a subheading. Then because I want that to be an inline text, I would use, so this is called like a backtick, right? So if you're using a MacBook, it's the key just below the escape. And I believe it should be the same place if you're using a window as well. So you just want to click it, or put it 3 times. It's going to create an inline code block, right? Basically, what we're trying to do is create something like this, like a plain code block, right? Where we can put like plain text and everything like that. So I'm just going to copy and paste the project objectives there, right? So for yours, you could copy and paste your project objective there as well. Oops. Right now, the next thing I would do is my first question, question 1 and 2, if you remember, was to model, like develop the model and assess predictor significance, right? That's basically what it was asking us to do. And then we could have our step 1, which was to install and load required libraries, right? So now to basically put this our code block, which is this here, right? And put my backtick and put those curly brackets and an R, and then you could close that, right? Then we'll just put enter. So I'm just going to copy the code from my previous one and just paste it there. So that's basically, we have our first R code block, right? So the next thing we need to do is go over to step 2. Remember, I'm just kind of walking through all of this. So I've combined step 0 and 1. So that's now step 1. So the next thing will be step 2. So I'm going to combine step 2 and 3 just to kind of reduce how many code blocks we have and make it really neat. So this would be then I'm just going to copy it from previous code. Then we'll have another backtick with R. So anytime you put, remember, anytime you put that curly brackets and the R, you're basically creating an R code block, right? If you want a plain plain code block, then you don't put the R, right? So now just copy this from my previous code and we'll put it in there, right? So we have our step 2. So now we can go into step 3. So step 3 is us summarizing the data. So this is step 3. That was step 4, sorry. Right, so now I made it step 3. So we're going to put another okay, so I need to make sure I have one line for it and then put there. Okay. Enter. I'm just going to copy that again and put it in there. Right. So this here is to summarize our data as well as show the descriptive statistics of the data. I could split this, or we could split this into 2. I think I'm being tempted to do that. So I would take that one out. I would put an inline code block here. I'm going to bring that one back later, but I want to put our description, right? Just to describe the data after we see it, right? So we could describe the data. So I have this here, which you could just create, right? So basically what I did was I used these tables here to basically create this. So I'm just basically describing the variables or the features that we have, which is GPA program return, and I have a definition for all of them. So now I can come back and put this. Right? Then below it, I'm going to have another inline code that allows me to put the interpretation. Right? So I have that there. So that's my step 3, right? So you could see it's nice, it's neat, right? Then I would go to my step 4. So put that there. Then I create another R block. So now this is for my correlation. Put that in there. Then for the results, where the result would show, I have my inline. So that's basically how you would just keep doing it, right? Depending on what you want. So if it's going to be an R block or if it's going to be an inline and so on and so forth, right? I told you guys I was going to try something out, which is an inline R code. So here I would want the median GPA. I want it to show as 2.7. So instead of typing the 2.7 myself, I want to try something, right? So I would say R, so median bracket core underscore df dollar GPA, right? So then I'll close that out. So we're going to see if that works when we run the code, right? So please remind me, and maybe you can fast forward the video to the end to see if it worked or not, right? But let's see. Okay, so let's continue. We're done with step 4. Then we have to do step 5. So step 5, which is to build our logistic regression model. right? Although we have that as step 6 here. So it's step 5 in ours because we combined 2 steps previously. So I would have my R code block, this, run it. And then I'm just going to put my model in there. So that's basically my model in here. Then I can put another inline block just to state that all my what's it called? All my independent variables were significant, right? Then P value less than 0.05, right? So we could put that in there. We always want to put interpretation, right? Okay, so now we could go to like creating so many lines. Okay, now we can go to question 3 because we're done with question 1 and 2. Then we do this is for the likelihood ratio test, right? So we create another R code block. I'm just going to copy it as well and put it in there. And then our interpretation would go in there. Right. So, and then the next one would be for our pseudo R squared. Just to make things fast. We'll put that there. Then we have our area and the curve. That's AUC. All right, so for the area under the curve, I have like a definition. I have my R code block, and then I have this here. So the other thing, I'm going to try it out again here. Instead of saying 0.88, I would basically put this R, AUC, ROC curve, and then close that, right? Actually, I do want to round that. So I would say round. Make sure it's two. No. And double this. Make sure that it's 2 decimal places. Right. No. I think it's just 1. So AUC this. Okay. So I hope that's correct. All right. So that's the inline one. Now, the next one would be question 4 and 5. So I'm just going to kind of copy it out just to make things fast. So this is my question 4 and 5 here, right? So, yep. So let me make sure of this. So I have the, ooh, okay, I think I know where this is now. So yeah, then the 2, okay, that's the correct way to put it. So this answers my question 4 and 5. And then the interpretation for it as well. Now the last one, which is question 6. So that's basically it. So just a little bit of tweak. I'll replace this as well. Although it's not, let me see, I'm going to try something. I'll take this one here. I'll put it as an inline code. This, and I'll put the percentage at the end. So let's see if it will work. I take this as well, do the same thing to it. So R, this, close it, right? So we'll just have the percentage at the end. Then, I would say the odd ratio equal to, let's put this, take this, put it there, close it. Then we could probably use a symbol, just say greater than, right? Instead of having like it's greater than 1. Yeah, all right. So that's basically how we develop our entire code blocks for our pub. Sorry, for our Markdown. The next thing we want to do now is to have this published, right? I'm excited. Okay, so now what I want you to do is click underneath this drop down, right? If you click on it, and then you click on knit to HTML, right? So good. So now it's opened up the HTML for us, right? So basically, this is how it would look like on a website, right? You could also click on this and it would open it on a web browser for you, right? So what I like to do is just open it on HTML. It will show me like this, and then I can kind of look through it and see if there are any errors or whatsoever, because I want to make sure that there's no errors before I publish it on the RPubs website, although you could always go and delete it and publish a new one, right? No issues with that whatsoever. So everything is looking good. Yay! So you see, we had the median 2.735, right? When we used, remember we used let me go there. So we used an inline R code, and I told you guys my first time using it, right? So you could see it here, and it basically showed as 2.735. So now I've learned something. What I'm going to do, I put this on large mode. What I'm going to do now is, because I do like my stuff to be like, especially when I'm interpreting it, I like it to be 2 decimal places. So now what I would go do is put some little adjustments here so that it would give me this answer in 2 decimal places, right? That's basically what I like to do. So now if it does this calculation for median, it's going to make sure that it rounds it to 2 decimal place, right? So I hope I did that correctly. I did. Okay. So it would round it to 2 decimal places. All right, so that's one correction we need to work on. Let's see. Let's see the other ones if it came out really nice. So you could see you have your model, you have the results below it, which is just like your code, result, interpretation. It's nice, right? And then you could see that ROC curve, right? So you could see the code as well, our ROC curve below it, right? And let's see. Yay. So this also came out really good, right? So now we could just see. So instead of me typing it out, I just call this inline R code here and it shows that, which is really good and exciting. I'm happy, right? So let's see. Okay, good. This one also worked as well. So we had that inline code and the percentage was there. The same thing goes here too, which is, I am so excited about this. And yes, this one looks really good. Now we have to go and make sure that it's 2 decimal place as well, right? So just a few minor tweaks here and there for us to make sure. So I need to just put round, that to 2. Okay, so just a few corrections here and there, and we should be good to go, right? So I'll close this, I'll load it one last time, and then we'll basically go from there. Now, while I'm about to load it the last time, please make sure you sign into your RPubs, because if you're not signed into your RPubs, if you once you go to publish it here, R will ask you to sign into your RPubs, and you could also sign in there as well, and it would automatically just link and show it and show everything into your account, right? So let's knit this again. So let's see if those corrections we made went into effect. Boom. So it's 2 decimal places, right? How did I miss? Okay, no. This one, I don't, I have to go back and check if there's any way for me to extract this from the model and just get only the McFadden so it appears here. But it's something I have to look into. Okay, the AUC score is 2 decimal places now. Let's see. Okay, so and this one is 2 decimal places now. So we're all good to go, right? So what you would do next is just click on publish, right? Publish document, and then we want to publish it on RPubs. So if you click on RPubs, if you were not signed in, it would ask you to sign in and all of those different things, right? So I am signed in already. So all I just need to do is click on publish, and automatically, since my account is signed in already, this is what it's going to show you. So it opened on my other screen. Okay, so this is what it's going to show you. It's going to ask you to put a name for the document, right? So I don't want any mix up because I already have the document saved. So I'm just going to call it a different name. Uh, classification model. All right, then I just click on continue. And boom, now it's officially on the website, right? Anybody can search for this and they could find it, right? I believe so, fingers crossed. So anybody can search for that and they can find it. So let's see, let me see. So if I take this, if I go to Google, yep, yep, that's it there. Yep, so you can see it. You could search it on Google and it's going to be there, right? So anybody around the world can easily access what you've created, right? And you can take this, you could take the link and you could share it with anybody. You could put it on your resume, your CV, and so on and so forth. And the recruiter can see all the cool stuff that you've developed, and they could see the results, they could see your thought process and things of that nature. So that is how we use R Markdown. Sorry, we first of all created an R code, we put it into R Markdowns, and now we have it published on RPubs. All right, so if you enjoyed this video and you find this video very helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.